14. My name's Phil and I'll be giving you a quick introduction into how to program up load shedding within the iRIO. The components we'll be using is the iRIO itself, the iRIO power supply. We have a switch which is connected to digital input 5 of the iRIO, and we have a router which is basically connecting my PC wirelessly to the router, and you've got a hardwired connection going straight to the iRIO. So what I'm going to do before taking you through how to program load shedding up within the iRIO, I'm quickly just going to describe what's actually happening within this particular screen here. So what we have is up here the iRIO output as described previously. So this is connected to the digital output 1 of the iRIO, and this has been programmed up to be a on-off drop-down combo box. Just below that we've got a meter input. From here we've got a variable currently sitting at 8 amps, so units, that can be whatever you decide, watts, kilowatts, again it can be anything. The way it's currently programmed up is that when it reaches a value of 10, it's going to basically trigger the iRIO output variable, or in our particular case the digital output 1 of the iRIO to turn on. So I'll just quickly demonstrate that now. So if I pulse the meter input, that will slowly increase to 10. Once it reaches 10, as we can see here, it's turned the iRIO output, so this is digital output 1, to on. Now as that increases, that remains on. You can turn that turn that particular output off again, and even though this is increasing, that particular value will remain off. Now if I just turn that back on, and let's just say for example the amperage is now dropped off, let's just say to 8. That didn't work for me then, so I'll change that to 8. So I've just gone 8, enter. It's actually turned the iRIO output off. So as it drops, as it falls, as it raises, it will actually turn the iRIO output on and off. Now you can also program in a hysteresis into that as well, and I'll show you how to program that now. So if I go over to the configuration page, I'll quickly show you how the variables are programmed up, just so you have a complete picture of what's happening. So I'm currently looking at the iRIO output. Now I've got a name, it's the iRIO 16 digital input output board. Just to reinforce its digital output 1, I've given it a unit state of /off/on, so we get that drop down combo box functionality. There's no operation, and it's set to a boolean value. So press finish to that, and I'll show you the other variable, which is the meter input variable. It's got obviously the name, quick description. It's connected to the 16 input digital input output board. It's the digital input 5 channel. I've given it a unit state of amps. Now because this is operating off a dry contact switch, I've had to give it a operation of edge counter, so that shouldn't be new for those of you who have completed the iRIO installation commissioning course. Again, this is just standard for how I've set my particular site up. That's going to vary from site to site. I've also programmed it as a input output, reason being gives you a bit more flexibility within the commissioning time. You probably have to change that after commissioning, that way you know somebody else is not going to play around with those particular values, because you want to see what that true amperage is being read from that meter. The storage data format, I've given it as IEEE, so we can actually get a usable value. If I press finish, go over to configuration, alarms. So this is where we program that functionality, that load shedding functionality within the iRIO. So I'll click on that, and I'll show you how this is programmed up. So I've given it a name, I've given it a description. Under file, I've just said no, it's not required. Essentially, it's just a means of logging, it's just a logging mechanism essentially. Now the origin, so this is the origin for this particular alarm, is, or in other words, what it's doing is its trigger is being originated from a variable. So if I press continue, that variable is going to be the meter input reading, so the amperage reading. Report, you don't have to have a report, just say no. Now, what we're looking at, this option here, and I'll just skip ahead, what I've done is I want the action to occur above or equal to 10 amps. So when this particular variable here reaches 10 amps, I want it to do I want it to do something. So what I've done is I've gone, if it's greater than or equal to, this is that 10 value, I want it to do this. So I want this variable to change to 1. So that's if it's equal to or greater than 10. Once it falls below 10, so when this alarm is no longer true, I want the iRIO output variable, so this is the digital output one of the iRIO, to turn off. And like I said, you can program a hysteresis into that. You can do all of that. And that is essentially programming load shedding within the iRIO. There's not much more to that. If you have any more questions in relation to any of this, please feel free to call the Schneider Electric Technical Support team. They're more than happy to help. And I'd just like to thank you for watching.